So you've lied to me and your word is worth nothing. You need to reconsider your position or resign.
Welcome back to Blue Shark Show. Today we have an interesting topic. Once again, it's Tyler Technologies, and we have heard everything from 1.2 million to 1.7 million. Now this is kind of a computer system, software system that the whole county is supposed to be going to.
Well, everyone except the sheriff, but yeah.
Right, and we've heard some things about why the sheriff isn't, and it goes to maybe anywhere from $3 to $7 million extra to implement between the manpower and the things that are needed for that. So we have Commissioner's Court. They're going to sign the contract, but nobody's actually seen how much the contract is, right?
It would appear so. I mean, I heard a few different figures thrown out in court that day.
So you would hope that the public would see what the Commissioner's Court's going to sign, whether it's 1.2 million, 1.7, 1.3. It would be nice to know as a citizen how much money the Commissioner Court is going to spend.
Yeah, and I think I even heard some commissioners say they hadn't read the entire contract either. So I'm not exactly sure how they know what they're signing if they haven't read the whole thing yet.
We have Justice of the Peace, Gillum, who goes up and speaks because he's very passionate. He wants the best for the citizens of Hood County. He wants the best for his JP precinct that he can have as far as software. He hasn't asked for Tyler. He's doing just fine the way it is. They have collections coming in. Everything's great. But the Commissioner Court says, hey, do what's best for the county.
Yeah.
So let's listen to Doug.
And I've been told, do it for the good of the county. Well, the good of the county, well, what does that mean? Well, it's cost effective if we jump on board now instead of down the road. Well, the money that I've seen this Commissioner's Court spending lately, that doesn't hold water, but give me a fact, give me a figure. What's best for the county? I know what's best for my JP office and the best for the citizens of this county. But my input wasn't needed. We didn't have our workshop. Professional courtesy is what I simply, and 3 other elected officials, our county clerk and 2 other JPs that want to stay with net data, because switching to Tyler will not improve our office one bit, in my opinion.
And, Judge Gillum brings up very good concerns. He's asking questions of the judge, the auditor, everybody that's involved, except for the Tyler rep who won't even talk to him.
Yeah.
That's a red flag in and of itself. He can't get the right answer from people, so he was asking for a workshop for weeks.
Yeah, and a workshop, that's usually pretty common. It's standard procedure whenever you have a big ticket spending item like this, just like we saw with the election machines. So a lot of the questions that JP Gillum has would be answered in a workshop. Citizens can come and see, other appointed and elected officials can come and see how this is going to work. So any potential issues or concerns that they may have for their department, those can be addressed in a workshop. So it would really benefit everyone if they would have a workshop.
Along with the taxpayers.
Exactly, yeah.
And I thought it was kind of sad that, you've got Jack Wilson, who I think he even said this in court, that, hey, we're going to have a workshop on this to, like you said, Courtney, get everybody on the same page. And that never came through. I mean, the people that were on that committee, they needed the workshop to get all the info and, quell some of these questions and concerns. And, Jack, he said we were going to have one, and we didn't have one. It's not doing what's right.
And JP Gillum is frustrated, and rightfully so, with all these questions, hanging in the balance. And his JP office will be turned upside down with this new Tyler technology.
We were asked, and we were told, we have asked multiple times to have a workshop after the report that was done, the independent report was done, so we could all discuss it and have the input of elected officials, because we know what best runs for our office. We've tried to explain how it's going to substantially impact our office so much that it hurts the county in revenue. My office does an outstanding job in revenue, as does all the JPs.
So Judge Gillum doing a great job. He's very concerned about his office, very passionate, wants to do the right thing. And he looks back on the report that Sharon Sheelander and Nanette Samuelson did, and some others. And they worked on this independent report, did a great job in the report, but they were also told that, by Jack Wilson, that they would have a workshop on this specific item, and they have not.
Right, and it's really a professional courtesy to give the people, the citizens and the other people that served on this committee, the time that they deserve to go over this report, explain the differences and why they chose or why they offered this option, or this option. And that is just really a professional courtesy, not only to the people who took time out of their days to serve on this committee, but to the other officials who this is going to affect and the citizens of Hood County.
I've been told by the county judge and the county commissioner that they've asked the Tyler rep to contact me. I had my first meeting with her today. I asked her why hadn't she ever contacted me, because I've been told multiple times by people on this court, you have asked her to contact me because I want to know, I want to be sold on Odyssey. I asked her today why she didn't call me. No one's ever told me. Judge, you've said several times to Tyler, and you've told us this, we're your friends. We're across the hall. You want them to treat us well, to help us. And I appreciate that. But have you treated us that way as friends? Have you come in and sat the whole day to look, this is going to upset my whole office and 2 other JP offices. If we wanted this software, we would have asked for it to make us better, to make more money, to be more efficient, be more proficient. It doesn't.
So here it is, June 8th. They're discussing this in court. They're getting ready to sign to Commissioner's Court. And Judge Gillum goes up and says, look, the judge and Commissioner Wilson said that they're going to meet with the Tyler rep. He met with her first time June 8th. And they're fixing to write a $1.2 to $1.7 million check.
Yeah.
You had the option in this report to leave the sheriff's department, which the reason they're not going is because it would cost $3 to $7 million to transfer all the data that's within that data before Spillman came in 09, and that's just not reasonable. It would take too many specialists to come in to convert all that information. There's a lot of reasons I have that haven't been answered that would have simply been answered, especially by the ladies who also requested a workshop so we could discuss this, air it out, do our point counterpoint, professional courtesy to an elected official that's trying to do the best that he could do and sees how his office is operating and doing a great job.
When everybody campaigns, they say, well, yeah, I'm going to work well with all these other departments, right? It's something that you hear from almost every politician as they're going to run. What we've got here is we've got 2 politicians, Judge Massengill and Jack Wilson, who aren't working well with others. I mean, they gave their word not only to Judge Gillum, but also Sharon Sheelander and Nanette Samuelson that, hey, we're going to have this workshop and we're going to get all this ironed out and we're going to make the right choice. That didn't happen. They went back on their word. They didn't give Judge Gillum any professional courtesy throughout this.
You're right, Nate. You're looking at 2 politicians between Jack and the judge and 1 statesman at the podium in Judge Gillum.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very respectful. He's done a great job. He's trying to be nice about how he's saying things, but you can tell he is for honesty and integrity, and he's very passionate about doing the right thing, and it shows.
And I think being honest, that's a common courtesy most people respect. And if you say you're going to do something, follow through with it.
All I want is an explanation, professional courtesy. So, Commissioner Wilson, you made a promise to me 3 weeks ago we would have the workshop, and I made a promise to you I'd back off my legal avenues. I asked you every week, is the meeting going to be set up? You said you're working on it, you're working on it, you're working on it. And then this comes up on the agenda, you're going to vote for it. I've asked, I've pleaded, I've begged, please let me be heard. Let me tell you the facts. We talked about e-file. That's been a mess. And Tyler agrees with me. And you say you call the JP office in Cleveland, oh, it's all fine with him, so your infinite wisdom, you know what's best. But all we asked was for a little respect and time. And you broke your promise to me. Every time I asked you in the past 3 weeks, are you setting up a meeting? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So you've lied to me, and your word is worth nothing. And I don't appreciate that. And I'll call it out every time. Honesty and integrity is all I'm asking for. And you've told me multiple times you didn't ask for this job. You said you had too many friends wanting you to have it. I want someone in here that wants this job and that's willing to work. You need to reconsider your position or resign.
Wow, that's a lot coming from Judge Gillum. And Judge Gillum is a man of integrity. He's a man of honesty. He is speaking the truth. And it goes against what Jack Wilson and the judge are doing.
Yeah, you know, this is really uncommon to see. I mean, I've never seen anything like this where you've got an elected official in the middle of open commissioners court telling somebody behind the dais, hey, you need to think about resigning. You know, if you didn't want this job, if you were just doing it because you were told to do it, you should think about resigning. That was like dropping a bomb in there.
Yeah, I mean, he says he didn't ask for this job, referring to Commissioner Wilson. Well, guess what, Commissioner Wilson? You got elected, so you have this job. And you ran on a platform of honesty, integrity, and character. And you can go to Commissioner Wilson's Facebook page, Precinct 3, and it states right on there what the mission of his office is. And in there, he mentions honesty and integrity. And if you scroll down a little bit further, he also talks about customer centricity. We are here because of and to support our citizens, elected and appointed officials and department heads and staff, to put them at the center and create a positive experience. And that seems like he's doing the exact opposite of what he promised to do.
Judge Gillum was dead on. There was zero rebuttal about anything Dub Gillum said about Jack Wilson. Now, Dub Gillum said this, it's not personal, and he even said it wasn't personal. And he said, look, I love you, Jack, but when it comes down to it, you're a man of your word or you're not a man of your word. You have integrity or you don't have integrity. And this is where some elected officials try to play those sides. And it doesn't fly with Judge Gillum, and it shouldn't fly with the citizens.
I love you, Jack. I'll leave it with that. Don't take this personally, Judge. I want to work with every one of you, but I want to work with you, please.
So, you know, here this thing is all planned out. Jack's getting ready to make a motion. They're talking about the contract, the 97-plus page contract. And now all of a sudden we start seeing who's looked at the contract, who hasn't had time to look at the contract. And now we still have a $1.2 to $1.7 million contract. And we're going to be voting on this contract without people reading it or reading part of it or only seeing part of it.
Personally, I can't in good conscience vote to accept this contract. Like I said, I haven't even read it. I just wanted to throw that out there.
County attorney has read it and read it and read it. I've read most of it, specifically the areas. The contract is based on milestone events and milestone payments with penalty clauses at the failure to meet those milestones. That's been confirmed by the county attorney, and and looking at that. So they seem to be he seems to be quite confident that the package is good to go.
Well, and I mean, I'm sure from
What I've read so far, because I specifically looked at those areas, for the milestones, for the payments, and then the penalty clauses, because I cautioned, Matt, early on when he told me he was starting to read it, make sure that those specific points are there, and he's confirmed that yes, they are.
I got to chime in on this too. I hate to admit this and confess, but I haven't had a chance to. I have no doubt that Mr. Wilson has thoroughly reviewed this, and the county attorney's job usually on a contract is to make sure that it's correct in form, and but he's not here today.
He also said it is.
And and so form is different than substance. So I just hadn't had a chance to completely review this contract myself, so it's going to be hard for me to vote yes today. And I have discussed this with Ms. Shelander and and Nanette, and you know, I think they kind of thought we were going to have some kind of a workshop before we took this to vote. But anyway, that's just where I'm at today. It's nothing against the contract or anything else. I just hadn't had a chance to look at, to completely absorb it.
You know, it was funny, and we've talked about this on the show before. Jack Wilson, using one of Ron Massengill's moves, he says, well, hey, you know, the county attorney looked at it and said it okay. And we say this all the time. The county attorney's looking at form, not substance. He's not saying it's a good deal or a bad deal. He's saying this contract looks true in form. That is it. And for commissioners or the county judge to use that as some type of excuse and try to shift blame if things go wrong in the future onto the county attorney, it's really kind of disingenuous, and it's just not right. You know, it's not being honest.
Yeah, and they really they're not doing their due diligence. If they haven't read this entire contract, then the commissioners have no business signing that contract, regardless of what the county attorney has said.
Unless you got to pass it so you know what's in it.
Maybe that's how this
I hope
works.
we're not getting to that point with this court, right?
Yeah.
Right? At least Commissioner Andrews and Commissioner Eagle say, look, let's look at this contract. They haven't had enough time to read through it properly. And, you know, that will give 2 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks to have a work group meeting. But, you know, Jack's read through some of it. The county attorney said the form is okay, but, you know, who knows about the substance. So here we go, $1.2, $1.7 million, and here it comes for a vote, and guess who votes for it? Wilson, Massengill, and Cotton. Who votes against it? Kevin and Dave.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign and approve the final contract with Tyler Technologies.
I hear a second.
Second.
A motion been made and second for the county judge to approve the contract with Tyler Odyssey, made by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Cotton. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay, for reasons cited.
Right, so it came down to a vote. Motion was made by Commissioner Wilson, and the vote was 3-2. Commissioner Andrews and Commissioner Eagle both were against it for the reasons cited. They wanted to have more time to actually read the contract and to have the workshop, which honestly is what should have happened.
Right, especially when you have two of the commissioners that haven't read a lot of it. Commissioner Wilson admitted he didn't read through the whole thing. So I think it's time that, you know, before you vote commissioners and judge, let's read the contract. I mean, it's a big contract. There's going to be a lot in it. You don't have to understand it 100%. That's why you have the work group meetings, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, again, we have a situation where we have Dave Eagle and Kevin Andrews doing the right thing, you know, taking their time, reviewing stuff the way they should, reading, understanding, comprehending, and knowing exactly how much money they're going to be spending and what they're going to be spending it on. And then you've got Jack Wilson, Ron Massengill, and Ron Cotton, who aren't doing that so much. And it's sad to see, but we're seeing this more and more. You know, we saw it with the voting machines and a few other things here lately. And I really hope we can break this pattern somehow. You know, maybe in the primary elections coming up. A couple of them are up in March.
Yeah, it's a constant theme we're starting to see here, where you have this group of three that just decide that this is what they're going to do, and they cram it down the citizens' throats. They cram it down the elected officials' throats, regardless of what they have to say. Their opinions don't matter. This customer centricity that they've talked about, this honesty and integrity that they've talked about, and transparency that they supposedly are for, just goes out the window.
And I would like to thank Judge Gillum for being a statesman during this whole time. He was very good. He took care of his office. He made sure that his citizens and his precinct were taken care of, although it was stopped by Commissioner Wilson and Judge Massengill. But thank you for standing up. Thank you for standing against the Commissioner Court when you should have. You did a great job. And as a commissioner or a judge, but especially the commissioner, if I was charged with those questions from Judge Gillum, I would definitely have an answer other than complete silence. So the citizens need to look into that and see what's going on in Precinct 3.
Guys, as always, we appreciate you watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe this video. If you want to support Blue Shark financially, head over to blueshark.media. There you will see the t-shirts, baseball caps, and tumblers that we have for sale.
Thank you for watching Blue Shark. Blue Shark is here for you, the citizens, shining a light on your elected and appointed officials. Shark Show out.